Can you hear me?
It's on.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Peter. I did not think I'd be introducing this film. I'll tell you something. Owen, who is in the movie with me, is here tonight. He's going to come up and do the Q&A with us at the end, and we have another special guest too. But when we first made the film, both he and I always refused to go do the intros. Because at that time, we were like, oh, it's bizarre, like people shouldn't see us beforehand. And I remember we screened at a movie in Sarasota, Florida, which is a fairly geriatric community. And it was a film festival. What was the big film festival that was there? It was just the Sarasota Film Festival, right?
Probably, yeah.
At the time. And older audience. When the film ended and they brought me out to the Q&A, everybody gasped. And it was like a real, like, what's he doing here? I can't believe this person is here. Because they had, of course, thought it was all real. It really is true. It was a long time ago, 2013. Nothing to say about this movie. Has anybody here not seen it? A few people? Oh wow, that's crazy. Ah, good, okay. Well, you guys will have a blast. It's so short that if you're like, what the fuck is this? It'll be over soon. And what I think about this film, because they did a 10-year anniversary screening of it when Blackberry came out, and I can't believe how much of it wound up informing everything I have done since. And I will tell you, we'll probably talk about this in the Q&A, we had no idea what we were doing. When we were making the movie, we were just going out and shooting and playing like almost the way that kids would, and never would we have thought that it would have transformed into this. So it's quite surreal. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you afterwards for the Q&A. And thank you, Peter. Good to see you again. It's our first time seeing each other in a long time. So, yeah.
Do we have any other special guests we might want to call up?
Yes. I wonder if we should
build up to it.
Yeah. Such a surprise.
Stagecraft.
Pretend that it's nobody else.
Yeah.
No one's here.
We'll answer these questions together.
I mean, it's a very provocative subject to tackle as a first film, school shootings. But you know, one film that comes to mind that was also a famous film debut is Peter Bogdanovich's Targets. And also not just the subject matter, but also even the construction of that film and the fact that it was a film where he had to deal with other footage and put footage together. Was that something that even came to mind, the correlation between Peter Bogdanovich's Targets and this film?
No, that was afterwards. That connection was made a lot closer, and I had seen the film because I really liked Bogdanovich, but it was much more Man Bites Dog.
Yeah.
We thought we were doing a straight ripoff of two movies, Man Bites Dog, and I'm sure you remember the Campos film After School. Those two movies were really what we were watching and being like, okay, let's just do this. And it was Josh Bowles' idea. He was the first person of my friend group to have seen Man Bites Dog, and he came to me and said, you should make a movie where you play a serial killer just like in this movie. And that was really our Rosetta Stone.
Was that inspired by him watching what you were doing with the web series with Nirvana? Or?
Yes, because he was in the web series.
Yeah.
He was at our apartment all the time. He's an extremely close friend of ours. And I think he knew, and I was thinking about like a movie that I would make, and that just basically connected all the dots, because it was like we already had the production style from the Nirvana web series, and it just seemed like such an obvious fit. Strangely, and I would say ironically, based on the fact that he's standing beside me, the hardest thing by far to figure out was my co-star, because we thought we would do it with Jay, and this sounds absurd thinking back, but we're like, oh, but Jay looks so adult. Like, there's no way he can pass as and then it's so funny, I look at footage of him now in the Nirvana the Band movie, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Right? He looks like a little boy. Mind you, at the same time, he plays a teacher in this movie. And I didn't know Owen. I'd never met him before, and it was Evan Morgan who co-wrote, co-edited, and really was like sort of the next most important creative person on this project. He also was one of the cameras with Jared. He said that he went to camp with a guy who had the same kind of inflection in his voice as me. And that's all he said, and I was like, this guy sounds great. Let's get this guy. And then Owen and I met, and my memory of it is that instantly I was like, I love this guy. I don't think there was ever any debate. We met, and then we started making the movie the next week. That's my memory. making the movie, I mean, you and I got you a job at the Science Center, and we worked, it's really true, because we needed to like spend a lot of time with one another very quickly, and that was such a sinecure position I had. I basically did nothing, and I was like, okay, come work here with me, and we'll spend as much time together as we possibly can. And was it a month? How long? Because I quit, right? Like, we both quit to make this movie, but how long was it between?
I mean, I don't know. It felt like a while to me because at the Science Center, Matt had a lot of little tricks at the Science Center about how to have a good time there. Work there, so the Science Center is now closed forever. So some of these tricks could be talked about more openly, but it still don't need to be totally. But just like little ways to do like little time theft. And and they made me very, very nervous. Any little thing, be like, you get out like 10 minutes early if you just do this little thing. I don't know, that's really ethical. I was so extremely nervous about any little caper. And Matt was like, this is good, this is training, like this is.
I mean, meanwhile, yeah, you're just auditioning him for the movie.
Hey, like, he'd already got the job. At this point, I didn't realize that he was getting so much out of it. It's funny to think back, I did have a lot of schemes. You know what? I had become good friends with the security guard there who was like, there was something about, I couldn't get in a room at some point. He was like, oh man, I'll just get you like a skeleton key. And I was like, really? And so he gives me this, and he's like, just bring it back at some point. 3 years later, Owen is working there, and I'm like, where do you want to go? We'll go in any goddamn room. This is the room I sleep in. Here's where I edit Nirvana the Band, the show. Literally, I had my whole editing set up in one of the classrooms there. I mean, I guess this is despicable, but in a very real way, that job created not only the Dirties, but Nirvana the Band, the show. Because it was only because I had that job that I could afford to live, and because, again, I didn't have to do anything there. I was a tour guide. So I would just edit the show all day.
Now, you said at the start that you really didn't know what you were doing when beginning this movie. What was sort of the first step beyond this summer of sort of training Owen for the part?
I don't remember. What was the first thing that we did? You and I, we moved into Evan's basement because his parents were in England for a month and a half or something. And wasn't that just it? And we went out and filmed every day.
Yeah, well, a worthwhile story maybe is the first thing we ever shot is the first scene of the movie.
Yeah, right, with those
that's
kids.
Really true.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're making a feature, we're doing this, we're really making a movie. Really, the script wasn't really written. Actually, I remember you and Evan one day spent like a whole, you were like, we're gonna spend a whole day.
That was a big deal to us.
And you like bought it up.
Because at this time we were playing Mario Kart so much that for us to spend a day doing anything other than that, well, as I say, we had made a big point of it.
And yeah, we got home and you hadn't finished, and we were really pissed off, and you were really ashamed too that you hadn't finished writing the movie, honestly. And then we were going to film, and I don't know if you remember, I lost my voice completely.
Yes, and so at the beginning of the film, if you ever watch this again on DVD, listens to Owen's voice. One of the reasons that I'm doing all the talking with those two kids is because Owen literally can't speak, and it's why he's open. The only thing you say is, "Yeah, I'm the other guy."
And I learned to trick them, and I don't know how interesting this stuff is, but I'm telling this story as I tell it to my students now. I'm a public speaking coach at the high school that I teach at. If you lose your voice, and you really lose your voice and you can't speak at all, what I've learned is if you drink oil of oregano, you get it back.
I
in about
remember
15
doing
minutes.
this. Oh my gosh,
Not
it was
take
brutal.
You can't take it. You have to drink a whole thing of it.
Yeah.
And then you really can speak for. We'd be like go, and I'd lose it, and then we'd have about half an hour where we could film, and I could speak, and then it would be gone.
It really was like the Bane Venom. He would have to do it, and then he would be able to turn it to himself, and then it would be gone. You remember how disgusting that was? Because we all did it in solidarity. Don't do this. Don't do this if you don't have to. It's so painful. And it burns your vocal cords back to life, I guess is what it does. I hadn't thought about that in, 13 years.
But
That's crazy.
It was a chance encounter to find those kids. So like, what were you originally planning to shoot in that part?
We were going to test the microphones. Again, we never went anywhere with a plan, Peter. Peter. we would drive around. I don't think we had a car. Did we have a car?
Yeah, you would have had your.
I know, my Mazda 3.
Hatchback.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right, we got it, yeah, that's right. And we just would go out and shoot, and sometimes we'd be shooting at schools, and sometimes we'd be shooting in public, and it just so happened that first time that we shot, we bumped into those kids, and it was very heaven sent. It was like, and I'll tell you, we didn't realize we had anything good, even with those kids. Like, it's not like we went home and we were like, oh my God, we got the beginning of the movie. For the longest time, that wasn't even the beginning of the film. It wasn't until like almost a year later that we were like, oh, we should open with this. It was like, if I had to divide the movie up, it was almost like we shot that first month, and it was really when we started going into schools with a plan. That's when things picked up, right? Wasn't it? Why is that funny? That we would be
You just watched a
sneaking.
movie in which you were coming up with a plan to go into a school.
Yes, and the plan worked, didn't it?
Because the time constraints would be, right? Because we would have 3 days to shoot.
Yeah, talk
that.
about shooting in the school.
We have a guest that can actually talk about it specifically because she broke into those schools with us, and I would love to hear her perspective on this 13 years later. Krista Madison, who plays Chrissy, both in this film and in Operation Avalanche, is here, and for the first time ever, we're doing a Q&A with. Because unlike everybody else on our team, Krista was the only person who didn't know us. And so I got to imagine we were like, okay, we're going to these places and we're shooting illegally. Like, what did you think?
You know, it was my first time on a feature. There was no plan. My audition was so random. I auditioned for you. Do you remember?
At Evan's apartment. I remember.
No, was it?
No. I remember
No, it wasn't. It was in a room. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was at a casting studio, I think.
Oh, cool.
Patrick, my agent, is here. He sent me. Yeah. So, anyways, the whole thing was it was giving disorganized slightly. But I was down to clown with it. It was so much fun. I don't know. I just trusted you. I showed up to set and I'm like, what are we doing today? And they're like, stand here. I'm like, okay. And I had no idea when they were shooting or not shooting or any of it. So a lot of that was just like,
Your real reactions.
Yeah.
I remember when we were shooting that stuff in the hallway. I haven't seen the film in so long, but I have a vivid memory of when we say, oh, is there anybody you want us to kill? And you were like, yeah, Mr. Bird. And that being a real favorite moment of mine in the whole movie, because it really tied a lot of things together for me. I was like, oh yeah, this Mr. Bird guy, he seems real friendly. Like, for some reason, I was
I
like,
hated him.
what's like a simple line like that? It just made the world so much bigger, and none of
Did you
that.
throw that line out, or did you just come up with that?
I was given no lines. That was all improv. That was 100% improv.
But we
that
were
whole
friends,
thing.
like we spent a lot of time together. It's
Yeah.
like we would
Sort of build
drive.
the world. So
Yeah, and we
sort of the
knew
world.
all of this stuff, but and obviously Krista knew like it's a school shooting movie, and like she knew the game, which made it all the more diabolical. The exchanges that we would have, where she would be almost like too cool for school, and I could be. It was amazing for me because I could say things openly to her, like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to kill these people. We're going to go shoot these people up," and she could
Good
treat.
luck with your shooting.
Yeah, exactly. It wound up creating like such a strong dynamic between us because it's an odd movie because it's a bit of a love triangle also with me in the middle of like Owen and you. I'm amazed it all worked. If I'm being sincere.
Same.
Yeah. I'm amazed.
Owen was great the whole time though.
Oh, it's completely true. This movie only worked because, for whatever reason, we found like 3 or 4 actors who were just totally natural all the time. It would be impossible to say somebody had a bad take because there were no takes. Most of the things you're seeing, that was the only time we shot it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of things
It's
that we
true.
did over and over and over again. Planning the shooting in Evan's basement, like when we would go over things.
Mm-hmm.
But what did we shoot a lot?
Yeah, were there any moments that you feel like you had to like this is an important moment, we need to get it?
That big fight that we had, where I lose my temper.
Yeah, we
that
did
was
that
really
many
hard.
times.
That was really hard to shoot because I had no idea what I was doing and I couldn't get there emotionally. And it was you and Evan were like, "No, you got to really scream and get really mad." And I was like, "I'm not capable of it."
Oh, I remember you really saying that, and that okay. Because like in the wake of the Columbine quotes, it was like a little weird that you were then expressing that you were like, I can't do that emotional thing that you're asking me to
Yes,
do.
yeah.
Right? Like you, of course, not like you meant a little bit differently, but in the whole context of it really it all did resonate, and that's mostly what worked so well with the film. I think is that the dynamic on screen is a real life dynamic where I am like just kind of going along with it, don't really understand the plan, and I'm a little nervous. And you have the plan, but don't want to let everyone know, and like enjoy keeping the people, you know, off balance, you know, and Krista's like a little bit separate from us and aloof, like not in the gang.
Above us, above us. Yes,
exactly.
yes.
All of that is real and resonant, and basically that sustains the film. I think that dynamic, and then so even in that moment, that resonance is continuing. Where this like sounds like where it's easier for me to get to sort of like really just express the frustration and the difficulty I have with all of it, and you having a harder time sort of totally letting go because you're in control the whole time. But
it wasn't an emotional experience for me.
Right. But that's the only time it sort of worked against us, maybe, in filming that one moment.
I'm curious if the word arbitrary was significant. Was that like actually given to you?
The question, do you remember?
I was given that line. That was the one line in the film I was actually given, for sure.
I remember shooting that.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. That was a real public school operating,
Yeah.
and Krista just had to wait. Do you remember that class that was going on at the same time when they were teaching the students how to use the library?
Yeah, and the computers. They were all learning how to use the computers at the same time, and we were like, what are you learning? Like.
And Krista, we were just like, okay, just wait here. Owen will come up to you and say something. And we didn't know what it was, and then
You gave me the line.
yeah, I had given
You
you
gave
this
me the
line,
line,
and it turned
yeah.
into this whole big thing.
But you don't know why that word in specific and the definition of that word, which becomes such a.
You know, I think it was in some ways an arbitrary decision. but no, it felt right, and you gotta remember at this time, like we were all living together. There were so many little verbal games going on all the time. Owen is I'm sure you can already tell, like very hyper-verbal person. So is Evan Morgan, and so we were just always talking and like trying to play games around words. And for some reason, it's so hard to go back and unpack a moment like that because there were hundreds of things that we did that aren't in the movie. And so the fact that that one is memorable because it's in the film is just a fluke of the camera being in the right place and our behavior being acceptable and that working in the edit at that moment. Like we shot so much all together. There was like extended scenes that we shot of Owen playing guitar for Krista. Like they had entire relationships that never bordered on the romantic, but it was like where like they were becoming real friends. We shot huge amounts of stuff in all different directions that I don't even remember.
And we spoke in that language a lot.
I was about to ask
Like,
what
a
that was.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We
all
were
the time.
joking about it, like, behind the scenes, too. And he started doing it, and I spoke back, and he was like, what? And I was like, oh, I can do that, too.
Oh, that
And then
funny
we
language.
wrote it
Double
in.
talk
Yeah.
language, yeah, the double talk.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, I
guys.
totally forgot about that. That came from you from camp, right? I'll say that was another real secret of this movie. I'm not sure if we've ever talked about this before, but the fact that Owen and I both went to summer camp as kids, I think really, if you view this movie, Nirvana the band, a lot of these films through the lens of like Ontario summer camp. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of it is coming from that. A kind of like play and games where you invent things and you're like, tonight we're doing this and it's the most important thing in the world. All of these movies are kind of like me trying to recreate that feeling of being at camp and like, oh my gosh, the girls are over there. Oh wow, we need a plan to go talk to them. Like, this is gonna require a plan. And yeah, I think that's why Owen and I got along so well and why we fell into the dynamic so quickly. Again, there was no run up to it. Like we started filming and immediately it was like, okay, yeah, this guy's my best friend and we can do this forever. And it's funny, when it ended, when did we stop? Was the school shooting the last thing we shot? Really? Like in terms of big things? It must have been, right?
I think it was, yeah.
And this is again my memory.
What
Did you
Did we
just
shoot
run
it?
away in the school shooting? What happens with you?
I wasn't even there. I wasn't on set.
You weren't even there?
No.
Probably for the
The
best,
last
because
thing I
would've
shot
been
was
complicated.
that Peterborough school.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was the last thing that
Yeah.
I was on set for.
That
yeah.
was probably the most like, whoa, what are we doing?
That was like a living, functioning school. But that was the last year that school existed too.
Yeah.
That was
Do you guys
like,
know
and they
this
weren't
school?
going
It's an
out.
art school in Peterborough called PCVS. I
Yeah.
don't know what the acronym stands for. And our cinematographer, Jared Rabb, graduated from there. And all of those interviews you see with students, teachers, Owen and I in classes, in gym class,
Yeah.
like all of that stuff is just, I think we were there for 2 days.
I think we did like 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days, where did we
And Jared's mom cooked for us every
we
night.
stayed at Jared's parents' house, that was so amazing.
It's really well. It's really sad that that school closed down because all that stuff that it was so vibrant that like the Seussical rehearsal that we're
Oh wow, yeah, that was there
too. And the two kids who sing the song that's for sort of the third montage are just kids in the hallway and the kids sort of dancing.
Wow,
in the
yeah.
stairwell. It's sort of a
So
really positive stereotype
all
of an
that
art
footage
school.
that was more documentary footage was only from 3 days of shooting.
Total,
And
we
then
never went back.
And you never went back, and then the rest of it was more of a controlled school set.
No, we're never in a controlled school except for this school shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that even wasn't that controlled because they didn't tell us it was Chinese school that day. So they gave us the school, but didn't tell the students who were there. And if you go back and watch that footage, you will see
A bunch of people being like, what the hell is going on? This is crazy. Because there was just an operating Chinese school the same day. But all the other school stuff is just schools in Toronto that we would just go shoot around or go in and
And
shoot.
no one had a problem with the subject matter?
Well, they didn't know what we were doing.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Nobody knew. Well, that's sort of Matt's plan.
No one knew.
I'm gonna give.
But you know what? Let me add an addendum to that, which is nobody knew what we were doing, but when we showed them the movie, everybody was thrilled. And I think that that's a testament to the types of places that we went to shoot. There was nobody who was either in the movie or a school that we shot at that was like, that felt cheated or duped or robbed or like this was a bad thing. They were all like, oh great.
I mean, on the subject of showing people the movie,
I mean, it's been 13 years. Do you remember what the experience was like taking the film to Park City?
We were together.
Yeah.
The three of us were all together.
We were.
Your mom came.
She did.
It was
She
amazing.
She was so cute.
It was one of the craziest experiences certainly of my life because we didn't know
you're showing it to an audience that doesn't even know.
Like, they don't know you at all. Like,
exactly,
yeah.
and we also didn't know like how it was going to be received. We just finished the movie a few days before, probably 3 days before we finished
The
the
final
film.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I don't think you'd ever even seen it. I think the
The
first
first time I saw it was at Slam Dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was surreal. It was crazy because the crowd responded so strongly and immediately. Slam Dance, if you don't know, it's a very, very small festival inside of the Sundance Festival. And so it's already like so off the beaten track. But I could tell the minute after it screened that something had changed for us because people wanted to talk to us. Everybody was talking about our movie. It was like, it was the craziest feeling ever. And we stayed the whole week, and I think it only screened one more time. Is that right? You and I sat in the back
Yeah.
behind the bleachers with our eyes closed because we were so scared.
No,
It's true.
Really.
Owen and I we were sitting there, I think, like, and we were like touching right beside one another, and with our eyes closed, we didn't open our eyes the entire screening because we were
And
so
these
tense.
screenings, people don't realize, like, Slam Dance, it's very claustrophobic too. It's very small, a very, very small space. They don't even do it there anymore.
Yeah, it used to be in like a
The Treasure Mountain Inn.
yeah at an inn at the top of the street. But that was the first time anybody from I would say the real world had seen anything that we'd done. Because Nirvana the band, the web series at that point was really just a kind of like a very like local Toronto weird thing that people knew, but really only like young people.
Did you know about it at the time?
I did, yeah, because they were cross shooting when they were doing all the things. So they would take a few days off to go shoot the show, come back, and like interweave things. Jay McCarroll, I don't know, was like
he was
working
up
on
all
it.
kinds of
Yeah,
things.
he was like in and out and back and forth and there and gone, and it was happening all at the same. Like you guys were creating it at least at the same
I
time.
think that may be partially true. I think that the last episode had come out, maybe we were putting together the DVDs. And we were shooting things
Yes.
for the DVDs at that
Yeah,
time.
and he was maybe finishing the sound on it or
Maybe,
like the score
yeah.
on it.
I mean, Jay was very involved because
Yeah.
he also did all the music on this. But yes, it was a profound experience, and none of us could believe it. We were we were ecstatic because again, we're Canadians. It's like an American festival. We're the only Canadians there, and people wanted to talk to us. I know.
I remember even the discourse at the time too was that school shootings felt like such an American subject. I remember there was like
Yes.
there were critics going like, "Why are you as Canadians interested in this story or interested in this experience?" Do you remember kind of the discourse at the time about the film?
I think we're too young to even use a word like discourse at that time. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess so. You know the word. Define
I know what it means, but what I'm saying is I don't know that we were involved. Like we weren't thinking.
You weren't thinking, oh, this is going to be
No
a conversation.
way.
Yeah.
No, but
We were worried. The first time we filmed it in Toronto was a month after Sandy Hook.
when we screened it.
When we screened it in Toronto. I mean, when we screened it.
Yeah.
That's right.
When we screened it
Yeah.
at the Royal.
Yes.
And we didn't know, that it would. I mean, to us, maybe that's the only time we would ever screen it, basically, right? Like, we don't know, maybe it'll be in Slam Dance and sort of just go away. So it was like, this is our big time to show it to a crowd. And I remember sort of like wondering if we should kind of cancel it, but like the
I
screening.
remember.
Yeah, that was the big discussion, if it would be too, just,
In
yeah.
bad taste.
In bad taste. And on that, like, I don't feel that way at all now. My students always watch it, but it's no big deal. I don't know. The film works. I think it's pretty obvious that the film works and doesn't come across as in bad taste. But we were extremely paranoid about that. I remember calling everyone that I knew who was senior to me to see if it would ruin my career as a teacher. Really, like, can I do this? And they said, if you want to make somebody think, make them laugh. So it's worth doing. But that's where we were. Less the national stuff and more just, are we making fun of tragedy?
Oh, this would be a good moment for a montage. What was the first moment where that occurred, where you realized you wanted to kind of introduce this structure of musical reveries?
You specifically mean like the character talking about the diegetic use of
Yes.
montage? I don't know, because it's very Nirvana the band.
Yeah,
kind
so
of
it was
trick.
something that sort of came out of.
Yeah, and it kind of the like the meta element to it. I think I had already thought like, oh, this is the kind of things I'll put in movies, but really when we would do it, it would always be after the fact. So in this movie, when I'm jumping around in the graveyard and I'm saying, oh, we'll put in that song by Best Coast, I had already edited the montage together.
Gotcha.
And
you're then creating the excuse.
Yes, yeah, and so a lot of it was like just going backwards and finding a reason to use this specific song, and again to like break the idea that this is a movie not being made by these two people. But it also came from, again, summer camp videos, where at the end of camp, I'm not sure if you guys have been to camp, they'll give you a video to some awesome song where they just put a montage of all the cool shit. And that's where I learned how to edit, because I would see these and be like, I want to be able to do that. And so I started editing things like those camp videos. And so you'll notice, even in Nirvana the Band, the web series, like whenever I can, I'll find an excuse to do that type of montage editing where it's characters having a good time. And if you just think, oh, picture a bunch of boys at a camp doing this, it'd be like, oh, that's all I'm watching. So I think it's just something I've always been very interested in. But yeah, I don't think it's not something we talked about.
I was just laughing to myself because I don't really know film, and that was very clear on the set. You guys are, film students obsessed with film, and I don't really know what's going on. I just always remember this argument that you and Jared had that I didn't understand, and going home and looking it up, and you just got so mad at Jared. You said, look, I don't want to get into this, what's diegetic, what's non-diegetic.
I said that?
But I mean, that is, I've read interviews.
It sounds like I was right.
I've read interviews with you, Matt, where it did sound like it was a conversation, speaking of Jared, to involve him more, and there's actually a decision to really pull that back, and only in very few moments acknowledge
That
Jared.
was a big decision in the edit, because before, Jared was I won't say a bigger character, but we talked with him more and he was in the film more. And watching the movie, when we had early first cuts, it made the whole thing seem slightly too perverse. Like the idea that this guy was here, but
He's aware of everything, and he
Yes.
could do something about it, but is choosing not
bingo.
to.
And it was, the more we pulled him out, the more it, again, this was all just by feel, but I'm really happy we did, because now I think there is a read of the movie, although you have to jump through some hoops in your head to make it seem like maybe there isn't even a Jared, but at least that is still slightly possible, and I don't subscribe to that at all, but I think it puts the audience in a more uncomfortable and better position to watch the movie if they aren't always hearing Jared break their perspective with his voice.
Well, I feel like at a certain point they almost identify with Jared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's sort of the effect that you're creating. And I mean, the one moment that you do decide to leave in is the popcorn moment. Was that, again, just through feeling, or was that you felt like, I can't lose this? This is an important offering where you're reaching to the camera. And
Well, we were watching The Bourne Identity, and it might have been that was the only shot we had. Like, it might have been less a choice and more just like, that's what we got.
Yeah, well, because once the, you know, the footage where Matt is striking the set is because, like, taking the posters down and everything is because Evan's parents were really mad.
They said,
that
"This
we
is
had
done."
stayed in there for that long, so we
Yeah.
lost that location and could never go back to film it. But that's really important, you know, to have a shot with an interaction with Jared like that. So some stuff we just could, it was over.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, like, I try not to think too much about that, because as you say, it was just like a feeling, and even the sound of the popcorn crunching when he took it, I was like, I don't know. It just sounds right. It sounds right. And I like the idea that audiences are eating popcorn, watching this. They get to be involved, having their own popcorn with us. Again, we were so young when we did it that it's not like there was any like design behind it.
now you followed this up with Operation Avalanche, and
The same cast.
with the same cast, and you know,
Yeah.
in movies things often come in threes. Will you guys ever get together again?
We've talked about it a lot. Owen and I have an amazing idea for
Spill it.
do you want to hear a pitch? No, we can't reveal it yet.
Yeah.
But obviously, we talk about it a lot. Unfortunately, I just don't think I'm in a good enough place in my career to get a movie like that made. But look, it would be a dream come true for us to be able to make a third in this, and I think if it doesn't happen soon, it will happen at some point. Because, like, again, it's not like these movies are easy to make. It's a nightmare. It's so painful to make them, really. I would say making this movie was harder at every level than making the Nirvana the Band movie. I know you weren't there for that, but it was harder at every level, because it's making comedy movies where it's like
Well, this is the one too that where so much of it is dramatic as well.
and it's so hard to maintain that tone, because getting actors to be there, even, I know we talked about it before, but that silly scene where Krista and I are in a school hallway and I'm measuring things and she's saying, "What are you doing?" To make that real is so hard. And like, it's the kind of thing when I look at this movie, I think I would not be capable of making this today. Like, I just couldn't do it. I have no idea how a lot of this stuff happened, and the only reason it did happen is because we just thought, well, let's just try it. And we went out and did it and got lucky time and time again. Like those kids at the beginning, like, what if they weren't there?
Did you ever see The Visitor?
I
movie
did
that they
watch
made?
it. No, it's on the DVD.
It's on the DVD.
Yeah.